So I am delighted that Jennifer Farron is with us. We have spent 25 to 30 years together.
Yes.
So both of us coming from the metro Atlanta area. And she reminded me on Wednesday when she did the concert that for about 20 years, the assistant music director at Unity North Atlanta. So just lots of flavor. Lots of really, really good flavor. So I know you're going to enjoy her today. And welcome. If you've never been to Unity of Palm Harbor, welcome. You are so invited to stay, have some munchies with us, fill out the little book, get on our newsletter. So when I say, do you open the newsletter? Yes. I love the words. I am alive. I am alive. I invite you to close those outer eyes. Take a breath in. Yes. Another breath in. Yes. One more for that divine Trinity in. And release. I am the truth. I am the love and the light and that expression of the divine. I honor myself in walking a path that is authentic and true for me. I follow my divine guidance, that place we call headquarters. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, life, for this beautiful experience. All of my teachers, all of my fellow pupils, to be in this glorious time of exploration. So in honoring each one of us here, individually and collectively, I invite all of us to enter the silence for a few moments as we all go to headquarters for that right and perfect message. Take another breath in and release. Yes. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for that inner knowledge that we each have the power to walk steadily, upright, bold, courageous, to explore with one another, and to take our time alone in the silence, whether you're walking a labyrinth or crisscross applesauce, you're sitting in your bedroom. We honor that time, that magic within, that intuitive guidance, and we are so grateful, even if we can't hear the answers right now. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to your alone time. Maybe you're just a little off center. And it comes. Assuredly, it comes. And you know beyond all doubt. Be still and know. For we are God, and so it is. Amen.
Living ain't easy, oh, sometimes it's hard, but it gets smoother the sooner we start trusting our instincts and living from love, feeling a power when things get too rough. We transcend, we transcend. Some days are brilliant and some are quite bad. Some people move us and some make us mad. But we continue to learn and to breathe. Before we know it, we finally succeed. We transcend. We transcend. I'll choose the direction my heart's leading me. Unplug my ego and set myself free. Love's gonna guide me, I won't ask how. I'll unlock my power right here and right now, and transcend. We'll transcend. We'll transcend.
Oh, I think she wrote that just for me. Transcend, that's a big word. We talk about transformation, but transcend is even up and higher and lifted over that mountain, over those obstacles. Wow, thank you, Jennifer. That was beautiful. We are talking about WYSIWYG. WYSIWYG. And when Marilyn and I first talked about the fall program, she said there's this computer term. And I said, a computer term? She said, yeah, what you see is what you get. And I thought, oh, so we became the WYSIWYG mistresses, something of the arts. And as Judith shared with you, we're going to look at authenticity, integrity, humility, responsibility, and worthiness. So we have a next 5 weeks filled with the good stuff. The good stuff that you want to take inside and dabble with and say, what is true for me? And how does it play out in my life? And how do I see this and what I'm becoming? And how do I want to be a part of this collectively and individually? So when I look at these terms, I think these could be very difficult topics, maybe even hard subjects. But then I remember, we are students of the Most High. We are A+ students, and we got this. Do we got this? We got this. We remember that we are both divine and human. We have been told that we are spiritual beings having a very human experience, and sometimes our human worlds get disrupted. You know, ministers make changes because God talks to them. I think I've shared with you About 2016, at Unity North Atlanta, where I had been a member about 27 years, our minister finished his path to ordination, and I was chairwoman of the board. So I go with him to Unity Village to watch him be ordained. And I was so proud of him, probably not any more or less than his own wife, because I figured I'm the baby sister. So I sat on the second row back. But in this beautiful journey with him, I too got a message. And it said, come apart for a while. I went, what? I'm with my friends. Do you see? I am busy. I am busy, busy, busy. And the message became louder. Nobody else, I don't understand, could hear this message but me. So I followed it. And I shared with a couple beautiful ladies before service today, when you get the call, if you do not listen, they call again. So just say yes. Show me. Allow me to walk in that place of faith that we teach. Allow me to listen as love guides me. Because in this very instant present moment, I don't know. And that can create fear. False evidence appearing real. You got it. I got students. False evidence appearing real. Now, in a very small thing, and I won't use the actual F-bomb, but in Edwene Gaines' retreat on goal setting, we had an FBI agent. And she said, F-bomb and run. Y'all can figure out what she said. So that fear that comes up, that disruption, the I don't know. And I very much honor Rob to come up here and tell you, we're just beginning to know what the I don't know is. And we got you. We're okay. We are all okay, even if I don't know everything. What about my beautiful Gabriel the Light going to another country? We were sitting at the wedding table yesterday, and I just want y'all to know, when you see Bob and when you see Pat, I'm like, girl, you're like one of these like Revlon commercials. You dropped 30 years. I don't know where it went. She just glowed. But we were at the table, and we're talking about, if I sell my house before it's time to go, what happens? And Susan said, you just come stay with me. And Gabriel Nelson said, wait a minute. I'm leaving on the 19th. I'm going to need a place for 30 days. No competition there. So we don't know. Can we have faith and trust the process? Can we authentically be who we are meant to be, who are we transcending to become without fear? Can we really say, I believe in these principles, that God is everywhere present? And if that God is love, another name for God, then I'm not going to be deserted. Gabriel Nelson's not going to be deserted. You are not going to be left out hung to dry, because we are empowered in spirit. We call in that which we want to create, and we are masterful co-creators with God. I believe when that divine idea hits us, and it can be crazy. You're like, I was comfortable. I even bought a house here. I got a fenced yard here. People send me the most beautiful love notes, and you do. And they bring me little gifts, and they bake me banana bread. I'm like, where do you want me to go? I'll give you a hint. It's sweater weather. For those of you who know, the heat is not my friend. And we open ourselves up to receive guidance. We open ourselves up to say, you know what? I don't have all the answers, but I know that I have been called forth. And when I am called forth and I answer spirit, little I, get out of the way. And it's more than I can ever imagine. Just like being called here to serve in my internship, and several of you are still here. The gift of coming and getting to know people before I actually moved here was truly a gift. And the gift you have all given to me is, girl, do it. Whatever it is you want to do, we're in. And we've done some crazy stuff. We painted some rocks and put them in a labyrinth. We've had ceremonies in here. We've had celebration of life in here. I've done baby blessings in here. We have done some great work. And I know whatever is coming next is going to be real and true and a place for offering an opportunity not just to transform, but in spirit to transcend to that next level of whatever you are already calling in. Just like whatever I'm going to do is calling in my next level of growth. So there's nothing to be sad of except that we're in a human experience. And sometimes we look at that and say, well, I was just getting to know you. I've only been here a few weeks. And as some beautiful soul said to me, you are the only minister I can hear. Sometimes Rob has to turn the sound down. You can imagine, again, at the wedding yesterday, I was asked to say the blessing. And so I stood up and I said, I think my voice is loud enough for God to hear. And the room erupted in laughter. Because that is who we are in essence. We are love and joy and laughter, and we forget when we get tied up in our human experience. We think it's supposed to be hard. I didn't read that in the Bible. I read it as a Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. It is the Father's good pleasure. It is the pleasure of spirit, of love, of God, as all things holy, to give you pleasure. Because we are an expression of that divine. And as an expression of that divine, we are of the divine. And I don't think divine wants to hang out there being hard. So we can invite in. The invitation today is to rise up, to rise into what is next and coming for us, not against us. What is coming for us and not against us. So when I went on this trip to Canada, which I'm so appreciative of, sweater weather. Okay, I'm not moving to Canada, but I would, but I'm not. Not today. I would be open to it. It was so beautiful. I took a book with me that some of you may be reading today. Let Them. Are you familiar? Anybody reading the book yet? Well, I first of all don't like popular books. If it's what everybody else is doing, I'm an Aquarius. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. But this book essentially says, as people walk through their emotions, their feelings, their thoughts, we often want to project onto others, even if we don't want to do it on purpose. And this author says, let them. That goes against every grain of my AAA personality. Don't you know, I'm used to running things. Some of y'all know that. And instead, this says, allow people to be exactly who they are. Why are you, me, attached to how other people show up? Because that means we have an expectation that you are not meeting. Wow. I know, wow. An expectation that you are not meeting. Well, who's that a reflection of? Right. When we're pointing those fingers, you see the four pointing back at you? Yes. So when we let go of having expectations, I'm going to go out on a limb and talk about the Buddha, the Bodhisattva. If I'm not attached to how things are going to look, guess what has time to grow and show up? That beautiful Spirit of God says, you know what, girl? You're not in charge today. What was that little sassy finger? I liked that little sassy finger. Y'all, give me your sassy fingers. You're not in charge today. It's okay. I got it. We talk about in some more traditional lines of religious thinking, laying it down on the altar. Well, if you were to go into a metaphysical place, what would we be laying down on the altar? Worry? Fear? Judgment? Ooh, that's a good one. Judgment? Expectations. Did we just hear that word? See, I knew y'all were A+ students. So we let go of how we think things should look. No shouldn't on us. Never should on us. Do that little finger wag. Come on. Do the little finger. There you go. No shame, no blame. We embrace, we invite that opportunity for each and every one of us and collectively to rise up. What is that new dimension? And I have some friends in here that go, girl, I have sat on the board, I have taught classes, I have done. And I'm like, you ain't done. You ain't done, because if you'd done, you wouldn't be in here. Because you're already being called through Spirit for that next dimension. Whatever it means to you. Whatever you hear at headquarters. Whatever you hear in that God guidance. So when Brene Brown talks to us about authenticity, she talks about us showing up as exactly who we are, that we don't have to pretend to be something we're not. It is so heavy to wear that mask. You know, what if we now, at this point in our lives, just drop the mask? Just drop the mask. You are not responsible for everybody else. Now, moms, dads, when we have our young people, we are still responsible for them. But for another adult, have your feelings. You're mad I'm leaving? I still love you. You're glad I'm going? Don't tell me. Just kidding. You'll take my banana bread away. But you know, all the feelings, all the emotions, I invite you to go to that next level. Who's coming next? What's coming next? Who are you going to show up to be next? For the invitation's open. There is a passage in the Bible where John the Baptist is talking to his own disciples. And he's talking about Jesus the Christ. And we see that Christ is compassion and love, all things holy. But beyond that, we strive to have that unconditional love. And John says, for the Christ to become more, I must become less. For the Christ to become more, I must become less. Now, I'm not talking as a lesser person. I just mean an energy field. An energy field that you are ready to bring forward and support our board and jump in and do some volunteer stuff and ask, okay, what is next? And we know next is going to be a transitional consultant. And that individual, and I know some of the names that have been thrown around, and one in particular, I know you're going to support this person because this person only function is to support you. Wow. Talk about a symbiotic relationship. Talk about that morning glory who wraps her leaves around herself at night, and then the glory of the sun comes out the next day, and she blossoms fully present, saying, I'm here, Lord. What's next? And that Lord is that love, is that guidance, and we all have it within us to transcend. I'm really liking this transcend word. I mean, you would do another song, just let me know, because I like this word. We're not just going to be from one form to another. We are going to rise. We are going to rise because we are still here to do this work, to love each other, to support one another, to look at each other and go, I got this. I got you and you and you. And to hold that to be a truth of who we are, human and divine. Human and divine. And to know that each and every one of us, whatever the next looks like, it's already perfect in the mind of God. How does that feel? It's already perfect in the mind of God. I'm letting go of expectations. I'm allowing that beautiful energy to come in and guide all of us. All of us. So let's close those outer eyes for just a beautiful moment. And this time, whatever is coming through, I imagine possibly a light beam. And maybe in that light beam, you are hearing the words, I am sharing the words, do not hide your light under a bushel. Do not hide your light under a bushel. So whether you are glowing in some beautiful, majestic hue of purple, that divine color, or whether you're in some golden streams of light from the sun, or quiet blue, a blue from the cloak of Mother Mary, if you will, or fiery red from Magdalene, because you know she stirs it up. Or maybe you're just in the purification of white. This says everything's going to be all right. We're here, never separate, in one space, in loving consciousness. Breathe into that space. And release it to the universe, and I invite you back now. Fully conscious, fully present. Thank you. Amen.